Welcome, this is Joshua Benoist in Autodesk Product Support. We're on video 23 where we're talking about beveled takeoffs. Here is the problem statement. Pause the video if you want to. Let's move on. Okay, so it did delete the dimensions on me. And I want you to see how I fix this, but I'm not going to make you sit through all the rebuilding of the dimensions. I want to switch to a view like this. This square, we don't really see it. It sticks inside of our rectangle duct. And our connector needs to be at this location. So I'm going to make that guy invisible on my modeling modifier. And I think he's this first path. So I'm going to make him invisible. And then I'm going to zoom in tight. I'm going to come up here to Connections, right click and say Add Connection. And I'm going to pick that point right there. Enter the connector number 1. Select Geometry Place to add the height dimension, which is there to there. Pick the position there. Second geometry goes from here to there. Pick it up there. Okay. Now let's look at our connector real close. I want to make sure that he is pointing in the proper direction. It looks like he's not. Okay, so I had to delete that connector because it came in the wrong way again. And I think I figured out maybe what we need to do. When placing these connectors, if we're looking straight down on it in plan view, it becomes hard to kind of specify what direction the connector should face. So let's switch to a different perspective and say Add Connection. And there it notices it wants to grab it and enter connection number 1. Select Geometry. Okay. It still wants to point the wrong way. Alright, I have made some interesting discoveries. So I came into XY plane and I turned off a bunch of the geometry and dimensions, cleaned it up so that all I see is this one transition modifier. And if I come down here to Connections and say Add Connection, notice it points that way or this way. Well, even though I've hidden the rectangle, it's only detecting the rectangle. See that? So I think we may need to get rid of the rectangle, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to play with this for a little bit and pause the recording. Alright, I come back bearing answers. This piece right here of rectangle, in the older parts prior to 2007, used to have this as part of the part. So basically, we don't need it. But rather than starting over, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that length that controls that. We're going to change that to edit, what is that, length A1, and we'll make that to like 0.5 inch. Close, so it'll look like that. And the connector needs to be placed there. So this is the proper location for the connector 1, proper location for connector 2 right there. And so now what we need to do, now that we got the connectors on there, let's go and say edit and type undefined. Check all, make sure all of them are good, and check all. Okay, okay. In the next video, we'll look at the size parameters.